Hey, yo. So I wanted to talk about something real quick. Just something I had a conversation with somebody today. You know what I'm saying, about like matters within the diaspora. And he told me he's from Guyana. So we talked for a little minute, and like I said, he's a brother. He's a black man from Guyana, right? I think one of the cool things about this discussion was I had like a I have a full understanding. I have a better understanding of relationships between African Americans and other people that are part of the diaspora. You know, Afro Latino, Latinx, Afro Caribbean, all that type of stuff. Right? I got more of an understanding of I think how it feels for somebody to come to America and see the state of Black America. You know what I mean, when they get here. But we talked about it for a little minute, and he basically pointed out a couple things. He had no issue with it. First thing he said was that he like racism slapped him in the face. You know what I'm saying? He didn't know anything about how it he only had TV shows. So, in America, when you get here, you think it's whatever you saw on TV. And after a while of him, in the job that he's in, he's a very high level, he's ex-military, very high level, very high level of, in the military. And, he drives plane. He's a pilot, you know what I mean? Professional pilot. He's been that for many years. And he explained that he had to understand. It took him a long time, but he finally had to understand that because of the color of his skin, it was harder for him to get the jobs, even with, the type of airtime that he had and the type of practice that he had, and the background, the experience, the ranking, all that kind of stuff. Like he didn't know. It took him a while to realize it. He finally did. So that was his kind of coming to like his whole process of like understanding, what it is to be Black in America. And he was the kind of person that ran away from it. He thought people were BSing. He thought people was just complaining and being lazy. You know what I mean? He explained that. So he understands the unfortunate side of racism. He understands like what it's done to our community and just the unfortunate effects. You know what I'm saying? So let me lay that out. The other thing he said is, while he was in the military, he ended up getting into an argument with a guy, another brother, that was just basically complaining about how the man is holding him down and this and that, right? And he explained, he was like, I got mad because he said my blood was boiling because, you have all of these resources by you and you have not used them, right? He understands how difficult it is to get to certain resources and all that. But for him, he's looking at himself like I'm a decorated soldier, you know what I'm saying? And I'm high ranking in my job, in my field, right? And all this and all that. I'm a Black man, you know what I'm saying? So that's kind of how he's looking at it, right? And yeah, we could talk about like these little programs that might help, all kind of stuff, right? And all those are true. Those are all facts. But I think his point was to say, while you complain, also make sure you have motion. Because if you're complaining and you're not having no motion, you're not doing something about it, you're not being active and trying to figure out a way around it, now you're stagnant. Now nobody can help you because you're not even trying to help yourself. And that's facts. You know what I'm saying? And I asked him, I said, well, not asked him, but I ran an idea across to the brother, right? And he's a little bit older than me. I would say maybe mid 40s, something like that, And I was like, is the issue, is the disconnect because we as African Americans were here and have, for a long time, and we're not as far as you would be if you were here. And he was basically like, yeah, basically that's kind of the disconnect. And I had a lot of African friends I had growing up. Their parents thought that way of us too. And he told me, he said, you have to understand that the way the media paints you in all these other countries, the way the media paints African Americans is not good. It's not good, So, and it's not just being black; it is the culture, So he's, they're doing us a disservice. They're doing the, African Americans a disservice before the other people from other countries even get there. So they're almost expecting you to be way greater than you are, and you're not that. And they're expecting that because in their own country, they have those expectations for themselves. You get what I'm saying? And learning about racism is tough if you're from another country, because you're trying to get to this country and do something. You're trying to accomplish something. You're trying to, get a job, learn the language, learn how to. Everything's different. So you got to give people time in that respect. So here's kind of what I'm gathering from, our discussion. I think the issue is that we, as African Americans, are products of long-term products of the same system that holds down a lot of other people, right? So you have foreigners that are coming in, right? They're coming from different countries. Let's say they're coming in from Nigeria, Liberia, whatever, wherever they're coming from, right? Ghana. And they get here and they see a group of people, they see people that look just like them that haven't accomplished as much as they think that we should, right? Well, in this country, we have been held down for many, many, many generations. So we started out very, very low in terms of on the totem pole of the way that we're regarded, and the type of things that we have, the tools that we have available to us, the resources and things like that. So we've grown in that system. When you come from another country, you haven't necessarily been held down by the same things, by the same entities, in the same way, by the same people, the way that we have. You get what I'm saying? You're coming into a country where it's almost like this. Here's my analogy on this. This is, like I said, based on the discussion me and this brother had. It seems like it's almost like if I had a house, right, with so many rooms, right, and I welcomed you into my house. You're from Ghana. I welcomed you into my house. And when you got there, I told you, things are going to be all good. We're going to make sure everything's cool. You'll have the same opportunities as everybody else. Racism never happened. Slavery happened, but, those people are gone. So there's no issue with that. There's no such thing as racism. Everybody loves you. We don't judge you by the color of your skin, right? And you come in, and it's all good to go. A couple days in, you find out that you can't do X, Y, and Z. It's harder for you to do X, Y, and Z. You can't find the tools necessary to get the job. These people don't like you. These people don't even know you and don't like you because the people that run the building that run my house don't like you. You know what I'm saying? So you got all that going against you. All these different resources and opportunities are not given to you because because I don't think I should give them to you, right? And then you have a child in that same house. And from the very beginning of that child's life, meanwhile, you moved in as an adult. But as a child, your child is held down from the beginning. He or she is not given the type of health opportunities. It's not the baby's not given the learning opportunities, the nurturing, a bunch of stuff, right? That the baby's not given from the get-go because you don't have the ability to give that to the kid because I don't give it to you. Right? 20 years later, that kid has a baby, right? and we redo the same process over and over again. And by the fourth generation, you got an alcoholic, right? Or you got some sort of drug addict or whatever. Somebody with, let's say they did not magically persevere through everything, because that's the more realistic thing. When you put somebody in a place where they cannot flourish, they don't have the tools to do what other successful people can do, a lot of times they don't succeed. Period. Right? And then I get a new guy that comes in, right? He just moved in from West Africa. He's coming in and he's looking, he's like, bro, what are you guys doing? Y'all ain't shit. You ain't moved up. You should be owning this house. You should be running this house by now. What are you doing? You have all these opportunities. This is a house. I don't have a house where I come from. And look at you. You have a house and you don't have and you have all these opportunities. That's almost like what it is. I think that's how it feels as an American. You know what I'm saying? Is that person came in and assumed that you would be at some. It's almost like assuming a child did their homework when they don't have a safe environment to do their homework. They don't even have a home. You know what I'm saying? They don't have a home to do homework. They don't know where they're living that night. They don't know what they're going to eat that night. You know what I'm saying? There's so much to break down. So much stuff to break down. So like I said again, you know, it's tough to think about it. It's tough to feel like, man, you haven't advanced. But I think the thing is that it's other people from other countries are almost like that. It's almost like you watching a video when somebody getting beat up in a video, and you're like, man, that couldn't be me. I would have did this, and I would have did that, and I would have did this, and you know what I'm saying? And it's like, you don't know what you would have did. You don't have no idea what you'd have did. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of the times you would have did the same thing. That's why I don't discuss what I would have done during slavery. I don't know. With the same tools and the same resources, I don't know. I would love to think that I would revolt against, you know what I'm saying, the oppressor. I would lead a revolt. I would tear shit up. Like I would just, you know what I'm saying? I would love to think that. But with the exact same resources, use critical thinking, in the exact same resources, in the exact same situation, what would you do? You got in three fights, and you think you can gather up all the slaves and revolt against whatever. However you feel is how you feel. I'm happy you're confident. And I'm not telling you don't do nothing or don't think you can do something. I'm just saying be honest. You know, because it's the same type of thing that they're thinking when they come from other countries here. They're wondering why you don't run this motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? Barack Obama was doped. Like being able to see a black person in that position of power was dope. For some of the members of the diaspora, some black people from other countries are like, why just now? Why now? Like just now? You know what I'm saying? They're like those parents that you come home with a C+, you worked hard as hell for that C+, and they wonder like, why don't you have an A? That's exactly what they are. So again, you know, that's my opinion on that, man. Y'all let me know what the deal is, but we got to talk about the relationship between black people in America, African Americans, and other members of the diaspora. We got to talk about it, man. I'll holler at you.